Record. All right. So, hey guys, welcome to this meeting. And I'm recording it just because there's some other people that wanted to be here, but either they have a religion thing for Saturdays or they're in a demo right now. So I wanted to call. I only invited a special group of people. All right. So I only invited a special group of people to attend this call just because. All right. We have, as you guys know, we have summer conference #1 approaching. It's going to be about 2 weeks away. All right. So 2 weeks away for this conference. And hold on one second. Sorry, my background was loud. All right. So yeah, for summer conference #1 push, I want to put together like an elite group of people that want to go for something big. All right. So just because you guys are on here doesn't mean that you need to go big. All right. But you guys are the people that I consider like leaders or people that I want to become leaders in our organization. And I want to help you guys hit your goals. All right. So, and with our team growing and getting bigger, I only have time to focus on like my best people. And I want to make sure we have like an inclusive group. And this group, we're going to be working together like every day. All right. Now, here's like the main thing I wanted to highlight. All right. The push period, it's only 2 weeks. Right. And I like these 2-week pushes because it's like you just give it your all. Right. Giving your all for 2 weeks. Would it be worth it if you just gave your all for 2 weeks to make all the income that you needed for the summertime? Right. Like when you think about that, you're like, oh, heck yeah. Right. And in most cases, like a lot of people do hit their income goal for the summer in these 2-week periods. But do you think you're going to want to slow down right there? Probably not, right? So like sometimes for like a representative trying to win an All-American scholarship, right? Or save a certain amount of income or hit their career sales or win one of the summer awards, they knock out most of that during the push weeks, right? So we have I think 2 or 3 push weeks this summer, right? So like let's say your goal was to do 30,000 this summer. And just to put that in perspective for all of you guys, if you sell 30,000 for the summertime, you're going to make a little over $10,000 in income, right? So I'm sure that covers most of your guys' expenses for the summer, and you'll be able to have an opportunity to save $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Some of you guys might be able to save that whole $10K. You're like, I don't have any expenses, right? So I want to put you guys in that position. Also with this group right here, I'm going to be like ultra available, more available than normal for all of you guys. I want to meet every morning. All right. So every morning for the 2 weeks. So that way, if you guys have questions, if you need help, I like literally want to guide you guys step by step throughout the push period. Right. And with the push period, it's just like going for like a big fast start contest, right? You know, like in the fast start, how I said 10% of the days are going to be challenging. Right. So there's going to be some days where you're like, damn it, you're going to be really frustrated. Right. And you're going to be like, dang it, like I'm way off track. Right. But the most important thing is working all 14 or 15 days of the push week because the numbers always balance out. Right. I think back to like when I was going for like my first big push. I think I mentioned this at the conference or the division meeting. I didn't hit my goal until like 2 days before the push happened. Like the first week was terrible. I wanted to give up the first week. Right. I was like, screw this. Right. This is hard. Right. And you just gotta. It's important because I had a coach. But the most important thing was I had a group of people that held me accountable. Right. So that's what I want this group to become. Right. Like, yes, we have our team is awesome and everything like that, but I want to get it like a little bit closer. Right. And that's called your circle of influence. Right. Because like when you're around a bunch of people that are like-minded, right. Everybody else that wants to grow the same way, everybody else that wants to make the same amount of income. Some of you guys might have other goals outside the business. I want to bring that part of this push week. Right. Like one of my goals is like fitness and health. Right. So like I want to be able to do like workouts, like Zoom workouts early in the morning for like anybody that wants to join. I think that would be really cool. Right. Being able to do some things like that. Right. Michaela can probably show us some stuff. She's the softball player over here. Right. And then maybe like if someone was like, well, I want to like work on like reading. Right. Hopefully we could find somebody else that was like, oh, I want to read something too. Right. And you guys can kind of hold each other accountable. And what usually happens during this period, as we start working together closer, right, you guys start getting closer with each other. And then some of you guys might branch out, right? It might be like Anna and Addison. They might be working more together on the day-to-day. And like Addison hits up Anna like, hey, did you do your calls? Hey, did you do your squats today or whatever the case may be, right? But basically, we're all on the same mission to just become the best versions of ourselves. All right. So what I'm going to call this group, I'm going to call this group the Badass Group. All right. BAG for short. So we're the bags. All right. So there's going to be two groups. All right. Evan's going to have the big alliance group. What I want for this group is I want this group to lead that alliance group. All right. Like, as you guys saw, we're number one in the division. Right. So that's in decisions like this is what keeps us at the top. Right. Because if you just do what everybody else does, you're gonna get good results. Like that alliance group, you're gonna get great results as being a part of that group. But then when we can narrow that group down smaller, right, to like the true core people, right? Like I think about like my core group of friends that I'm with that push me to play basketball, or we're always pushing each other like, oh, how much did you save this month? Right? And then they're like, oh, I saved this amount, and then they're like, oh, dude, you should probably not like eat out as much, right? You'll save more money, right? When you have like that group of people, it just takes it to the next level. All right, so here's a couple things I want you guys to write down. So here's how we're gonna kickstart this group. All right, and again, you just let me know. So I want you guys to text me by 9 p.m. tonight if you're all in. All right. Now, it's okay if you're not all in. All right. I know sometimes I can be an intense person. So it's okay if you're not all in. All right. But text me by 9 p.m. We're like, all right, John, I'm all in. All right. And what that means is like, we're going to commit 15 days. All right. 15 days of the push period. All right. Now, I have some standards for this group though. All right. So the first standard is we got to be at the region phone jam tomorrow. All right. So that's going to be from 6 to 9 p.m. All right. 6 to 9 p.m. And it's okay. Like, let me know individually if there's like a reason why you can't make it or something, like there was already a pre-plan. But ideally, I would like for you guys to try to sacrifice it or work around it, or at least get there for most of the phone jam. But our goal for tomorrow is to schedule 10 demos. All right. Like, I want everybody shooting to schedule 10 demos on this call. All right. And yes, that's going to be hard. All right. Some of you guys are like, John, like that's what I've been trying to do. Don't you think I try to schedule 10 demos every phone session? I get that. Right. But now like we got to go a little above and beyond. All right. So most of the time we just stop. Here's the only issue with working from home is like when you get tired, it's easy to be like, oh, I'm done. Right. Because there's nobody around. Like before, like in the office, imagine me walking like, hey, dude, you're not done. Make 10 more calls. Right. So that's all I'm asking is that you guys push yourself a little bit more. Right. Like if you feel like tired or you feel like you want to call it done for the day, push a little extra. All right. Imagine me just like, hey, I'm watching you. Right. Like maybe you guys should just print out a picture of me just like this. Right. And just put it in your room. I don't know. That'd be creepy. All right. But yeah. So that's like the big thing. We're trying to schedule 10 demos tomorrow. All right. To kickstart the push. The next thing is on Monday, you need to have at least 3 demos, all right, this Monday. All right, so we want to have a huge Magic Monday. And the reason being is what's really cool. We've never done this as a company, but there's 2 contests that are happening at the same time, right? That contest that I posted about the iPad, which by the way, like Anna has some entries into there, so that's super cool, right? But that contest about like the iPad, the DoorDash gift cards, Cutco, lights, and all that stuff like that, that ends on Monday, which also kickstarts our push period. So ideally, I want you guys to just go huge on Monday, right? It's going to start off your push strong, as well as it's going to finish that last contest strong. All right. So 3 minimum is what I would like to see. All right. But 5 or 6 would be killer. Okay. Now, the next thing is the minimum requirement to be in this group. I need everybody to commit to doing 30 appointments in the next 2 weeks. All right, 30 appointments in the next 2 weeks. So when you really break that down, that's 15 each week, right? That's as simple as you can make it, right? And there's going to be different levels that are going to be exciting to shoot for, right? Like selling $5,000 in 2 weeks. I think that would be super exciting for some of you guys, right? 7,000 gets even more exciting. Imagine selling 10,000, right? For like Michaela, telling 10,000 again for 2 weeks, right? Imagine being over $20,000 for the summer, right? So I know, like for you, Michaela, you go back to school earlier in August, and there might be some of you guys that start school or leave for school a little bit earlier than most, right? That's another great reason to turn it up right now. All right. So 30 demos is like the minimum. Typically, if you do 30 demos, you should be somewhere around $5,000 to $6,000 for the push period. All right. Now, if you raise your average order, it can be way more. All right. 40 to 50 demos, you're going to be over 10,000. All right. And if you want to go for something nasty, you're like, John, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. I'm going for it all. 60, 70 appointments. Basically, you need to move into your room, buy a mini fridge, a microwave, filtered water, and just never leave. All right. So that's those are like the main standards. All right. And then the last one, here's the last thing that I'm just looking for, is everyone to show up to Champs Club. Okay. So everyone to show up to Champs Club. Now, at least, so it depends on your goal as well. If you're going for 10,000 or more, you got to be at every single Champs Club. Okay. 10,000 or more, plain and simple, every single Champs Club. All right. And the reason why, right? So like Jacob Hall, he's going to watch this video. I know he has like a family day thing planned, but Jacob Hall just had his biggest day of sales yesterday, right? You guys saw him. He had a $1,500 order, his biggest order so far. Then he sold a kitchen system, like it's a homemaker plus some accessories, right? And then he sold some other stuff, right? He had his biggest day. And I'm actually not surprised that he had his biggest day. He made it to every single Champs Club this week. Every single one, right? He's the first one on our team to actually do that, right? So and here's why Champs Clubs are so important, right? Because you have that accountability, right? You're like, all right, now you're forced to make calls. Because it's easy to say like, oh, I want to make calls today, right? And then today starts. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh, it's the end of the day. It's too late to make calls. I'll make calls tomorrow. And if you do that 4 or 5 times throughout the week, now you know, like now you're like on Saturday or Sunday, you're like, crap, I've only done 2 demos and the week ends on Monday. All right, but that's like the name of the game. All right, so Champs Club is going to be crucial, and then I believe we're going to be doing an extra breakout Champs Club. Right, so we're going to do an extra breakout with our Champs Club where it's just for the Alliance people, and that's where you're going to get some heavy hitters teaching you guys some high level skills. So Daniel Reeder, who just left my house, he's at $2 million in Cutco sales. Or like almost 2 million, it's like 1.9 something, right? That's a lot of freaking Cutco, right? So I want you guys to learn from people like him, who like literally were driving in his car, had 3 voicemails of customers like, oh yeah, Daniel, like I met you the other day, like I'm ready to buy some Cutco, right? Like learning like some magical, like he's like a magic wizard of Cutco, right? I have Austin Robinson downstairs. He's working at my house today. He works with, he did amazing things with Cutco, right? He won All-American scholarships, graduated from CBU, debt-free. And he still works with Cutco now, but he's also taking his skills into another company that he's dominating, right? So getting like that outside perspective as well, right? So, and someone that still knows our business, right? So he's going to be teaching you guys some really great stuff, right? And then we have like guys like Matt Graves, TC Smith, like all these guys are millions of dollars worth of Cutco sales. So I want to make sure you guys get the best learning. Some of this stuff is like too advanced for everybody that's not as committed. So I actually don't want them to get all that information right now. All right. And then also another big part is like helping other people step up on our team. The easiest way to get our whole team flowing is when we have leaders, right? The speed of the pack is determined by the leader. The more leaders that we have, the faster and better our team does, right? Because there's only one of me. I can only do so much, right? So I appreciate when you guys are like throwing out flames and telling people great job and you're saying do one, book one, like that actually helps out our team a ton, right? So I would just like you guys to do that. Feel free to invite people onto your appointments, right? Like if you talk to somebody and they're like struggling with something or someone needs help, like if you guys can answer that question, that would really help us out because there's me plus all of our assistant managers, but we're in our busy, biggest time of the year because everyone's getting out of school and everyone needs a job right now. So we have like an influx of applications of people applying, and we're trying to help out as many students and young people during this time of need, because we're in that position to help out a lot of people. So that's another thing that I could use your guys' help, is just within like the WhatsApp group chat. All right. So and then the last thing is just have fun with it. All right. So yes, we're gonna work hard. Yes, we're gonna push ourselves, but then let's have fun during this process, and then we can celebrate after. All right. Like I'm down to do like a little celebration. Hopefully more and more places are like open, and maybe we can meet up for somewhere and just eat some food, play some games or something. Like that's what I want to do. So that's the main thing for this group, right? Like everyone else, I want to work hard, of course, but this group specifically, like I want us to work extra hard and then have a lot of fun at the end, right? So that way we can celebrate all our hard work, right? So imagine the person that you become at the end of this, right? Where you're like, okay, I know how to grind for like, when was the last time you guys like really grinded and pushed yourself for 15 days straight? Some of you guys, it was finals week, but then also there was some of you guys in finals week that you're like, I probably could have worked harder, right? But like actually like gave it your all, right? So think about like how you're gonna grow, building that capacity. So this way, if you handle this challenge, you guys gonna notice like other little challenges, they're super easy. You're gonna be like, oh, that's nothing. I survived the push week, right? So imagine what you become right there, right? Imagine where you're gonna position yourself financially, right? Some of you guys make your biggest paychecks, right? Like a $500 paycheck for 1 week's worth of work. I think that's super exciting for most of you guys. 1,000 is more exciting, right? 2,000, 3,000. All right. And then just imagine adding some new people to your network, new friends, new everybody. All right. So that's the main thing. All right. So that's what I want you guys to focus on. Phone jam tomorrow. Focus on how to get 10 demos. And then here's the last thing. I know I said that like a million times. All right. But here's the last thing. All right. Get people involved around you. So talk to parents. I don't know everyone's like circles, right? Who's like your big support system. I don't know how everyone's parents feels about the job, right? Like I remember at first my parents were not the biggest fan of the job, but then when I told them what I was trying to shoot for and what I was trying to accomplish and what I could become, they got on board. They're like, okay, let me help you out. All right. Like here's an example, right? You guys like heard Jeremy Blau talk about recommendations, right? Like my mom still to this day has recommendations for me. All right. Your parents definitely have not recommended you to everyone. All right. Some of you guys are like, nah, John, they did. No, I highly doubt that. All right. Yesterday with Elena, we were talking about like the Facebook approach, right? So I know most of you guys haven't done that, had somebody post on Facebook for you. So that would be like the first step I would do, right? Like how many people can you guys get to post on Facebook for you today? All right. And I'm going to create like the badass group chat, and I'll drop the recommendation stuff on there. All right. So get people to post on Facebook for you. All right. Sit down with mom and dad, like, hey, mom, dad, I'm going to be working the hardest I've ever worked in these next 2 weeks. Right. Aunts, uncles, whoever's like your support system. And we given it my all, like 2 weeks straight. And I want to see what I could do with this job. Like I'm here, I'm committed, and I just need your guys' support. Right. So if there's anybody that you guys can help me out with, I don't care if you don't think they're going to buy. I don't care if you haven't talked to them in forever. It would really help me out. Right. And then try to get like 10 recommendations. See how many more people you can get to recommend you 10. Tell them like, hey, I'll give you a free veggie peeler. All right. I can get you guys veggie peelers for $7. All right. So I can get those shipped out to you guys, or if you guys live in like Riverside, you can come pick it up at my office or something like that. If I get you guys veggie peelers, like, hey, I'll give you a free veggie peeler if you can give me 10 recommendations, right? And $7 is definitely worth 10 recommendations, right? Or just ask people like, hey, like, do you think you give me 5, right? Like if they're like, oh, I don't know about 10, all right, cool, just 5 would help out a ton, right? So go back to the well, rebuild your list, and then also don't be afraid to reach out to your friends. Your friends can come through clutch. All right. Like one of my friends just walked up here. I remember I was like, hey dude, I'm in a big contest. Like, let me do an appointment with your dad. Right. And at first they were like a little hesitant. And I was like, don't worry, I'm going to hook you up. Right. Like just pull out all the stops. All right. Like some of you guys can just like, imagine if you just went down your Instagram or your Snapchat friends list. right? And just message 5% of them. That's probably like another like 10 to 15 to 20 appointments you guys could just schedule right there. All right, get out of your comfortable. And I want to teach you guys, like, get comfortable being uncomfortable. All right, the most dangerous spot I've ever seen people is when they get too comfortable. Right, when you get too comfortable, you notice it's like you get stuck. Right, good things don't happen, and it's like you can't move. Right, so I always love being in that uncomfortable position. Right, like work as hard, like put yourself in more uncomfortable positions, because that's how you grow, and you're gonna grow to a crazy level. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. Welcome to the bag. Let's go ahead. Let's go dominate. All right. So the division or regional phone jam starts at 6 p.m. tomorrow. All right. But you guys are good to go. I just wanted to get that out to you guys.